Hello, good evening. Oh, it feels a little bit strange being on the evening because I'm normally on morning or daytime, but it's lovely to be here and Happy New Year to everyone. Although, shall we say, it doesn't quite feel like New Year. You know, I said to someone earlier today, it feels like it's a bit of a transition, you know, that we haven't quite launched into the new year. And that's because we've still got some planets in retrograde and there are some other things going on, and New Year feels like it's going to be later in the month, you know, when the planets are aligning, and that's when it feels as though things are finally going to get going. So right now we're in this kind of transition phase and it's fine. Wherever we are is actually really fine. We don't need to worry because this wonderful plan of the universe is just flowing nicely. It's just going along and it will be as it is all meant to be. And all we have to do is just ride the wave and listen to our hearts and be ourselves. Because let's face it, that's all we can be. We can't be anybody else. We can only be ourselves. And that kind of, you know, leads quite nicely into our full moon topic, which is all about home, about being ourselves, about finding our home. And this full moon is in Cancer. And Cancer is, it is home. It's feeling comfortable in ourselves. Hello, Lorraine. Welcome. You know, Cancer is about being comfortable in ourselves, in our home, with who we are. And, you know, one of the questions I was thinking of today is, who are you when we strip back everything? You know, when we strip back all the stuff that we've got and all the things that we think we should do and who we think we should be. And when you strip all of that away, who are you? It's a real question. It's an important question. If everything was not with you, who would you be? And it's in asking that, I think, that we actually come back and discover home. Because home is not the place where you spend your physical existence. It's very nice. I love my home. It's full of my stuff and it's full of my memories and it's full of my belongings and my lovely old teddy bears. But it's not home. It's just the shelter where this physical body lives. What is home? Home is, it's in our energy. Home is inside of us. Home is where we feel comfortable. And you know those people who can just travel the world and you always think, God, don't you miss home? And they go, no, because home is always here. Home is always within me. They have an understanding about what it means that so many of us have lost. And we lost because we were constantly told that home was the place where we had things, where our belongings were. But it's not. Home is the place that is always with us. And what we're asking ourselves at this full moon about our home, about who we really are, is exactly that question. Who are we? What is the truth of who you are, and how do we begin to find out who we are? Well, the first thing we do is we throw out this idea that we are this physical vessel. You know, the physical vessel is like the car, but it's us who gets into the car and we drive it. And we take it on journeys. And this is exactly what our soul is doing. Our soul enters this body. It arrives in this body as soon as we're created, and it drives us and it takes us places. And how does it drive us? It drives us through our heart. It drives us through passion, through love, through desire. Too often we are driven by pain and lack and fear and so on. But that's not a journey to choose. We can choose differently. We can choose to drive a car of joy and of peace and abundance. This is our choice. But what we need to begin to realize, to really realize, is that none of this stuff out here is us. It is a representation of who we are. It is created and brought in by us, but it is not us. It does not, at the very basic level, it is not us. It may represent who we are. But then again, everything that is around us hasn't been called in just by us. It is not necessarily our truth, but it is the truth that society has given us, that our family, our friends, our expectations have given to us. So it's very difficult for us to actually look at our lives and start thinking, well, all of this stuff that I have, all the things that I've done, all the character that I have been throughout my life, is it actually me? And I guarantee you, you'll look at it and you'll go 80, 90, however much percentage, if you're lucky, maybe 50%, is not actually you. It is the influence of everybody else around you. The influence of everyone else coming in and telling you who you should be, how you ought to be in order to fit in with society, to fulfill the role that they are giving to you. And then we look back one day and we go, I don't feel at home. I don't feel peace in myself. And so we use diversions. You know, we then have sugar, alcohol, you know, going to watch a movie. We find all these other things to divert us from the fact that we don't feel at home, at peace within ourselves. And then one day we wake up and nothing feels right. We start looking and all we see is immense pain within ourselves. And we start questioning and we start thinking, this life that I've lived, it was never for me. And that can be such a terrifying moment. But it's also the moment when we set ourselves free. It's also the moment of pure liberation. Because finally you are breaking free of all the rules and all the regulations and all the ideas that somebody else has given to you. And then what happens? Your friends and your family don't recognize you. They think you've gone crazy. They think that you've wandered off on some path that is bad for you and they need to come and rescue you. But you know what they're really trying to do is they're trying to put you back into the place where they felt comfortable with you. Not the place where your soul and your heart really want to be. You are just beginning to find your home. And then someone comes in and says, don't live there. Come and live in our home because it's where you've always been. But that could be a home that's filled of unhappiness and trauma. And why do you want to live there? Why do you want to even visit there again? You don't want to. This again is a choice that we can make. We can say, I don't want to visit that home anymore. It doesn't bring me any joy. I found my new home and that's where I'm going to live. It's where my heart is going to reside. Don't ever let someone else pull you out of what you know is right for you. And yes, there may be this transition period, this moment where nothing feels quite right. There might be this moment of thinking, oh my God, but I'm losing everybody. I'm losing everything that I knew. But you know what? If everything that you knew was just causing you pain, why would you want to stay with that? Surely you'd want to go and step into the place where you are beginning to sense a magic, beginning to sense a comfort and a homeliness follow that sense, follow that dream that you've got. It's not wrong. You know, who are we? Who are we? We are magic contained in an incredible body, a truly astonishing body, living this life here. But what we are is energy. We are expansive, beautiful energy that can grow and change and adapt and evolve and live. And they chose your body. You chose your body to come and live in this lifetime there. So this is a home for you. It's home for you in this tiny little portion of your existence. But why do you want to spend any of that in doubt, in regret? Why, when you can go out there and you can live exactly the life that you want to live? Because that is home, and it's not selfish. It's not self-centered to go and fulfill your dreams. It's actually what you're intended to do. You are meant to come here and find the real you, the real passion that you've got, the real drive that you have. And then to live it, to be it, to be true to everything that you are. And this is all that we feel in our heart. Now, this is not a mental process. This is not something that you sit down and you write and you plan and you think, well, I'm going to go from here to here and this is my journey. That is not how home works. Home is a feeling. Home is a passion. It is a rising fire inside of you. This is what we follow, and every day we explore a little bit more. Every day we say, hey, where do I want to go next? What do I want to explore next? It is opening your vision, opening your heart, opening your soul to all the wonders and the wondrous beauties across this world. There's so much, but also at the same time it is looking inside of ourselves and knowing that the wondrous beauty, it is you also. The gift of magic sits in here. It is everything. So to sit in magic, it's peace. To recognize your magic is peace. And is it any wonder when we don't feel at home, when we constantly criticize ourselves, constantly have a go at who we are? Is it any wonder we then don't feel comfortable in ourselves, that we want to constantly change something? The moment that you start feeling who you are, when you start connecting and realizing the incredible divine person that you are, and I've written a lot about this week, the energy has constantly been saying to me, question, who are you? What do you want to do? Recognize your magic. And when we really start recognizing who we are, when we start really feeling that, then you will always feel at home. Then you will begin to drop the shame and the embarrassment of being who you are, because all of this has been given to us by those around us. Do you really think that you, this incredible, divine, beautiful being, do you think you arrived being ashamed of yourself? Do you think that you arrived feeling embarrassed about who you are and what you feel and your desires and your passions? Do you think that the universe created you in such a way that you would feel that shame? No, they didn't, and they wouldn't. All of this shame that we have carried, it was all donated to us by other people because it was their shame and their embarrassment, and they felt that this was the way that we had to live life. And here was somebody new, somebody beautiful, and they're born in the most perfect state. They're born free. And then someone says, no, we can't have that. We have to place onto them the same shame, the same awkwardness, the same doubts that I carry, because then I recognize them, because it makes it easier for me. If I have a free being here, I can't do that. I can't communicate with them. I can't live with them. So we want people to be in the same box that we have found ourselves in. And so our world goes from this huge, unlimited expanse, which is all our home, and it comes down into this tiny little box. And that is where we reside, and we are told that that is our home. But it's not. And when you begin to drop all their shame, all their awkwardness, all their rules that they have given you, then your world begins to open up again. Then you begin once again to see the truth of who you are, to see the desires that you have, and to know that these desires are not wrong. They are your desires, and they have been born out of your immense soul journey throughout millennia. It's not wrong. It is the calling of your soul. So we put aside all of the restrictions, the rules, to be who you are, to be free. And I know, I get it. Sometimes when we look and we think, well, okay, I'm free now. My world is so big. Where is my home? Your home is everywhere. And sometimes it's overwhelming when we think I have too much choice now. It was easier when someone put me on this path and it was narrow and I could only see one tiny portion. Because when we see so much, when we know we are so big and we could do anything, we get scared and we think, well, what do I do now? And it can be paralyzing. We sit there and we think it's too much. I can't cope with it all. But you can, because when we let go of the idea that we have to be doing something, that we have to be someone, then you can just begin to go with the flow. You can begin to go with whatever it is that your heart wants you to experience, whatever it is that the universe says, here, you can experience this. And it might change day to day. It might change moment to moment, but all of this is your home. All of this extraordinary opportunity that just lies there for you is your home. Because you are always at home. In that state, you are always at home because your soul has come into your body and you have given your soul the freedom of expression, the freedom to stand up and be whatever it is. Never wrong. Never incorrect. Just as it is. This judgment on what is right or what is wrong is a man-made judgment. We are everything. We are so expansive. And this is the truth of ourselves. And you may get inklings for a moment. Then you may run from it, but it'll come again. And when it comes, know it, recognize it for what it is, not that you've gone crazy, which is another thing they tell us. When we begin to see unlimited, when we begin to put aside all the fears and the worries and the concerns that this world has given us, and we begin to say, none of it matters, because these concerns and these worries are not part of my journey and not part of my home. What do? That is when they call us crazy, because we're not weighed down by the same burdens that they are feeling, because we know that we're always going to be okay. This is the beauty of experiencing our home, the universe. Always at home. So that is what the universe wanted to say to you today. I kind of like the message. But now I've pulled some cards, and they come from this pack. I was, just before Christmas, I was going online and I was looking up various packs of cards, and I saw this, and my heart said, that is a part of my home. That is a part of who I am. And I knew nothing about them at all. I just knew I had to have them. So they became mine. And there they are, the Rose Oracle. Beautiful. So again, I've picked 3 cards. And the first one, it's quite pale, so I hope you can see it all right. This is called The Return. Isn't that a beautiful card? And as soon as I looked at that, I thought the return. Yeah, the return to ourselves. The return to coming back to the truth of who we are. The prodigal son returning home. Except in this case, we are returning home to ourselves. We are returning home to our hearts, to all that we are. Returning home to love, to this ever unfolding rose that just keeps blossoming and blossoming, and more and more and more love just keeps piling out. This is what we're coming home to. All of that, the centre of that rose where we know that we are loved unconditionally. Returning to the bosom of the universe, which is inside of us. So it's returning to the universe, and at the same time returning to us, our soul returning to us. And then the second card is the second bloom. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, a second bloom, a second chance. It's never too late. And it's funny I mentioned the prodigal son there, or they did, because the prodigal son received a second chance to come home, to be welcomed back. It didn't matter what they'd done. And you know, we don't just get a second chance, we get a third, a fourth, a fifth, we get a millionth chance. Because the universe doesn't judge us, and our soul doesn't judge us, because it is universal. So there is no idea of, oh, you know what, I should have done this before. Why didn't I find this sense of freedom before? Why wasn't I at home so long ago? Oh, if only when I was a kid, if I'd known where home was. I'm so stupid. No, none of that. We find home when we need it. We find home when we're ready. And if you lose home again, as we all do, we all have days where home is gone and it's like, oh, can't do it. It's okay, because there'll be another opportunity. There'll be another moment for your heart to bloom, for your soul to shine. There will always be another opportunity, and the door will never be shut. The door to your home is never, ever closed. So you have a million chances. And then this card I particularly love. Codes of the seeds. See, it's birth. And this really is about, where do we blossom from? We blossom from home. We blossom from coming back into ourselves and connecting with ourselves. And from there, once we have found that home, everything is possible. once we know that we are universal consciousness sitting in this body, once we know that, then everything changes. Everything blossoms from there. But when we deny our existence, when we deny that we are this incredible universal energy, we can't blossom. Not truly. We fight, we push our way forward, we struggle, we everything is a challenge because we're not at home within ourselves. But when we find that place, when we acknowledge who we are and acknowledge our unlimitedness, then everything can blossom because it simply flows. The flower, the seed is already there. The template for everything that we are is already there. And all we have to do is acknowledge it and say, I have this template. I am already the seed. And when I let go, when I relax, when I know who I am, the seed blossoms and everything then becomes possible. Everything that we wish for becomes possible. And remember, what we wish for is a part of our journey. The desire says to us, this is meant to be with you. This is why some people have a desire to help the world, and others have a desire to be rich, and others have a desire to dance. Because it's a part of our journey, and one thing isn't wrong and someone else is right. It is all about our desires. It is about filling our house with all the things that bring us joy. And what doesn't? You don't want it, really. And that's the truth. It's not meant for you. Your heart won't call for it. It might be a fleeting thought coming through, but your heart truly will not call for it. And you won't miss it. You really, really won't miss it because you never, ever called for it. Why bring something into your home that just doesn't suit you? Those days are long past. Now, we can be selfish. Honestly, we still whisper it, but we can be selfish. We are allowed to bring into our lives only that which brings us joy. Nothing else. So, let's do some light language. Let's do some light language to find, to feel the home within ourselves. So get yourself comfy. Sink into your feet. Sink into your heart. And be open to the sounds that come through. Morna kazije kera sinya kaini modar moshara ai ke zukumo zwara da jara da karama tia maravate tiro como kosho sono così adiania marotora shi akimezi kiadona tana jishki shwa sindi kushiko sukorobro korishi sukotora bajara matata sini keshke nanjinyo adio do morokore bisia tiana mrazotara kimeshike na tunzuno kusiashi kerane mieder mazimia de matakarapotora na jukorosi sekajiki adiana samarataski siniasi ni amarataski ni tsugoro karakia no somota sikara aditi urkushki shimoshara mazara dorata timmet kezia Rabazavara Dobroshkaznia, Naramarata Azini, Cassini Kurunukushia, Matarani Chishkesia, that motorajekes, I jajim, the Barahashka, Natona Siati, Jati Board, the Kashkara Matarashki, Siashuno Shora, Shinja Dijna, Maratarabishki, Shania Sakara Deshka, Sinia, Tatsina Kashiana, and Izinia Simora, Dorka, Dishki, Shinia Sinia, Kadini Kashinia, Sakaramatarbosha, Numerazoa. They say how we recognize where is our home. It's very simple. It's It's where the light resides. Mataj nakarazi mishiki amoro koshkea. Shidishia tia namaza tarabatashki. Najuno kurushke sem yoshun nachi. Patatina karishikara sakuratarja. Nashinda jikiaso. Mutanana. Mati baraga koramusko deja. Chinjashki shun kushkoru karmarashki miedisaya. Madarami sinya. Masima samarabarakara. Atichkeshka jenia. Tajishke shun kushora tarashe. Sitkeshka marada. Darada toto moshwara. Batishki shia. Majini kisia. Pototo uniasia. Tinia karamazina. Itia de moropo. Nandodosho. Darmaji indication. Sinjiju norosho, Vajiska razi, the Yeshga Madara Jonoko, Taramati Daro, Shukun Kishaji, Meta Yimarapati no Korosha, Shunojo Yu de Ashi, Sunia Jono, Shunia Jino, Moro Doroshi, Tonushki Nur, Karashito Nurkurashi, Kedon Karkishkara, Shinyazia, the Motara Marakeba, Nazindi Horokoshka, Siodo, Donna, Ainiashia. Bata batoro mais caixa para necroshu sudais nasia para neneji karmasin dara kishka soja tormoja armadarasi anukurn kisia jakarazi made marabaro majuna metina kasiar na kasia anu surata si kera matara mado dorm kwe adimarajo shora sa tazinya. Mare do susu si miazuda susu si no sora no kusia so no sinyazuzi amarata chunuza da ichiki modarji susu susu kuroso to zundu kusora kataroshko si shodajne majitia todo no kase haniasia madbroro de jesia. They talk about comfort. Coming home to ourselves is really comfortable. It is like sinking into the most beautiful sofa. You just sit down and think, I am home. Me darna kashigo da zezia da riju shosi ora sora takare. Tiju susura matara jukma kienukura shura da shijikara ishga dia marazi. Bukun madarasi shijukuro. Sora dajna, sika maradashke, siora no kashe, tijia ditiam butoturm kashi, ajitki ashko, zutarakishko, sujukarase, tejichka, jimeda, iti nike waraki, tujanika zina krakisi, sujunarasikiam, morandar, jikiashkesia, anamasia. And also, life becomes easier when we come home. We've lived with this idea for so long that life has to be hard, that we are being worthy if we are working hard, if we are suffering, that it is virtuous. No. Life can be so easy, but this happens when we come home. Marna kiete kadi kalakadiate jaji moraka. Tijianya taska. Tijianya matien kajati matakania tabarakari kishishura. Shujujkarnskia. Tiatia matia morokara peshikia. Sukurn kishia. Sheshi shachi my dad matati marakaraki. Tijanishkashiam. Tijamorosorate. Feel that lightness. Feel that stillness. Feel the silence. Feel the pause. This is how it is to be at home. Don't need to do anything. Don't need to be anything. Because everything is already yours. From this point you are unlimited. From this point you can imagine anything, dream of anything, and create. Feel that beautiful sense of being in yourself. You can come back and listen to that light language whenever you want, just to bring you back in to that place. Let your whole body experience that feeling. Your whole body feel what it's like. Feel the truth of your home. And from my home to your home, via our universal home, I wish you joy and peace and love at this amazing Cancer full moon.